I've been baited. Hook, line, and sinker. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, straight up. I tried, bro. I tried. But, dudes, I've been baited. Hook, line, and sinker. Like, you got me. You fucking got me. I'm not usually one to, like, meddle too much in, like, drama or, like, calling people out or whatever. But, dude, I got baited. I absolutely got baited by this video. The thumbnail, as soon as I saw it, because I'm not even subscribed to this guy. I've heard of this guy. One of my viewers a few streams ago, like, pointed him out to me because I had no idea he existed. And then, like, since then, I've seen Mike Hollow go at it with him. You know, that was entertaining. Like, the teenager in me loved it. But, like, nothing that he's really put out has gotten me, like damn, that's dumb. Like, nothing's gotten me to the point where, like, I want to sit down and actually, like, react to it or watch it or put it on my channel, right? But this one definitely got me. Yeah, this thumbnail. For some reason, I'm sitting in the living room, I'm watching TV, I'm eating dinner, right? I'm on YouTube, that's what I watch, that's my entertainment. And this f***ing video pops up on my For You page. My video's right there. Hey, look at that. Frame data. This is for losers. How's that frame data working out for Mortal Kombat? Back in the old days, fighting games were fun, not equations. Bro, what kind of title is that? How's that frame data working out for Mortal Kombat? What the fuck is that even supposed to mean? Frame data's been a thing since fighting games have existed. And saying back in the old days, fighting games were fun, not equations. Maybe that's because you were bad at fighting games back in the day. Maybe that's the reason. Because fighting games have always been competitive. I mean, you go back to, like, Evo. Evo's existed for fucking 20 plus years at this point. I'm pretty sure. 20 plus years at this point. People were playing Third Strike and UMK3 competitively back in the day. Even if there weren't, like, these big modern day tournaments, because the internet has made all of that easier. Evo was still definitely a thing. People were still definitely holding locals at arcades, right? Like, there was always competitive nature, and frame data has always been a big part of that. Like, you have to know what you can punish. You have to know what your punishes are, right? You have to know some of these things if you're playing fighting games at a higher level. And this thumbnail already, like, we're not even into the video. This thumbnail just leads me to believe that he's one of those people who doesn't want to take the time to get better at something. So instead, he would rather call everybody else who, you know, does care to do that a loser. Now, I'm not sitting over here knowing frame data and, you know, being a good fighting game player. I'm not sitting over here calling people who don't know frame data or who are just completely casual. I'm not calling them losers. If anything, calling someone a loser for, like, being competitive or understanding something that they have fun with, that makes you the ultimate loser. Like, calling someone a loser for that makes you the ultimate loser. Because that's just lame, bro. That's just lame. People enjoy fighting games at different levels. Whether you're the casual guy who enjoys the story, loves to do arcades, gets all the endings, learns some, like, basic combos, right? Whether you're that guy or you're the guy who likes to learn a bunch of different combos, get kind of competitive with the game, still ignores frame data, jumps online, does whatever, right? That's fine too. The medium competitive player who learns frame data, tries his best, but doesn't have time to be, like, a pro, right? And then the pros. And everybody's valid in the way that they play fighting games. I don't know what it is today, especially in the Mortal Kombat community, with this combative theme on being competitive with a fighting game. Like, especially in Mortal Kombat, it's like, if you're not competitive, or if you're not casual, rather, you're playing the game wrong. Like, you're a loser. Like, why are you playing MK like this, bro? Like, it's a fighting game. It's always been competitive. People have always tried to learn the inner workings of these systems and these mechanics to win, dude. It's not something new. We haven't even watched the fucking video yet, right? We haven't even watched the video yet. It's annoying more than anything, because these are the dudes yelling at NetherRealm to balance the game in certain ways. And it's like, if you're playing at a casual level to where you know nothing about frame data or the, like, in-depth mechanics to a fighting game, you really don't need to be talking about balance or what characters should be better than the others, right? I think that's just a given, in my opinion. I'm not saying you can't have an opinion, but I am saying that the game should not be balanced around your opinions, to be completely honest. And we haven't even watched the video yet. It's one of those things, like, where even, like, if I agree with some of the things that he might say in this video, his thumbnail was already so abrasive and obnoxiously childish, right, that I already have my preconceived notations about the video, the contents of such, that I think it's going to be a terrible video. Like, just to be completely honest. And this right here, I'm going to go double. This is also really disappointing. Because Total MK is one of the OGs in the Mortal Kombat community and like has been a part of the fighting game community for a very long time. And he's on this with pee pee poo poo jokes, right? He's in here with pee pee poo poo jokes and talking shit about the community he's been a part of for a long time. Man, it's just annoying, right? Like, I don't know, it's just annoying. Like, you're an OG and you're on these hateful ass videos agreeing when you know what the competitive side of the community has done for the game. I mean, look at Max, dude, doing the fucking MKX Lives tournament, competitive tournament. Had like 30,000 people in there watching that, bringing back one of the best Mortal Kombat games ever fucking made. You know, that's what the competitive side of the FGC does for Mortal Kombat games. It's just super annoying to see takes like this. And I want to get this out like near the start. We're already a little ways into it, but like if anybody wants to debate me on this, dude, I'm down. I haven't been a part of the community for like fucking 20 years, dude. I've been here for like 10 since around MKX. I played the games when I was growing up, but I got into fighting games and playing them a little bit competitively with MKX and then went full into it with Injustice 2, right? So I played at a higher level since then. No, I was in diapers while people were at the arcade playing MK3, UMK3, and I was probably still in diapers or damn near, maybe just out of them when the 3D era happened. So like, no, I haven't been a part of this community forever, but I don't think you have to be here from the start to have an opinion. It matters on how much you love the franchise, the series, the fighting games at this point. It doesn't matter when you got here, and I think that's another dumbass thing in this community of you had to have been there when Mortal Kombat 1 launched in 1995, whenever it was, 93, 92, whenever the hell it was. You had to be there day one at the arcade, your dick in your hand, sweating your ass off, right? Like, some people got here later than others. That doesn't make them fake MK fans. That doesn't make their opinions less valid, especially when they get to the point of knowing more than you do, having been here for this long. And I think that upsets a lot of people. I think that upsets people who have been here forever, that people who got into the franchise way later than they did are better than them at the games that they played as a teenager when they came out. I think that's upsetting for some people. But that's your own fault, dude. You didn't take the time to learn these mechanics, to learn these games. That's not my fault. And I don't think you should be shitting on people who do enjoy it at that level. I'm not shitting on you for being ass at these games. I'm not. Like, I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm having fun. But like, when you start calling people a loser for it, it's whack. Yeah, and that's my thing, bro. Total MK, I had so much respect for this guy. I had so much respect for him. He's one of the fucking OGs, man. It breaks my heart because he is one of the OGs. Back when I got into MK, I was watching his fucking videos, you know? And it's so disappointing. Like, bro, why are you guys being hateful, tearing the community apart, making all this drama, talking all this fucking shit when, like, we're already a broken and shattered community because of WB and NRS, right? We're already broken and shattered. We got people piecing out, like Brusk and fucking Waz. We got people piecing out from creating content in this community, and you guys are more focused on being fucking hateful and further driving a wedge in the community. It's so disappointing, bro. It's on us as content creators, in my opinion, to get people hyped for these games, to get people excited, to make people want to play fighting games, to make people want to play Mortal Kombat. Instead of I'm fucking having on my For You page pop up, does Christianity belong in fighting games in Mortal Kombat? It's like, dude, who fucking cares? We're playing video games. Like, I'm playing as a giant ass reptile who just bit a bitch in half. What do you mean? I'm playing as a dude who has ice coming out of his butthole, you know, freezing you for a super dope ass, you're floating in midair like a goddamn Looney Tune combo. Like, what do you mean? Christianity in fighting games. So anyway, let's watch.
All right. We're going to talk about frame data and why it's for losers.
Oh, wow.
Losers, right?
Why do you want to be the Donald Trump of the Mortal Kombat community? Dog, you're Australian. Get the fuck out of here. You're not even in America. You're a part of... look, I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I absolutely voted for Donald Trump in America, but this cult shit of people who want to act like him and be him is actually fucking cringe. It's actually cringy, dude. You're not Donald Trump. You're not the Donald Trump in the Mortal Kombat community. You're not making shit great again. You're making it bad.
And the reason why that, now let me just clarify, because I know people will be like, I like frame data fight. How dare you disrespect me? There's some real sensitive people around here. Right?
It's not even about being sensitive. It's about you making fun of people who enjoy to play a game a certain way. And in reality, it's you being sensitive because you're ass at the game because you don't cared to take the time to learn even the simplest mechanics in depth in any way, shape, or form when it comes to the game. I was going to try to be respectful, but I'm pissed.
When I say losers, I mean the people that get to a point where that is the only thing that they care about. They lose sight of the rest of the product, right? We are, at the end of the day, playing a video game here.
Correct.
We're not here to do or figure out math equations, right?
What is the problem?
This is for entertainment purposes. Okay?
Yes, that is entertainment for some people.
And how did people, just to add an aside here, how did people ever play fighting games with no frame data? Well, we're going to get into that. But for those people out there, right, they sit there and they go, plus, minus on, up, block, yeah, g'day, finger in your bum, all this sort of bullshit, right? They lose sight of the greater and the far more interesting picture here, right? Because what happens is that they look at a roster like this and they'll go, well, what's the best matchup, right? My way of playing.
No, I will agree. I will go ahead and agree. And that's the thing. From what I've seen of this guy, he makes some good points in the fucking dumbest way possible. That's what frustrates me about it, because I've actually sat down and watched a couple of his videos since one of my viewers showing me who he was. And it's like, dude, you're actually making some decent points. You're just going about it as a complete fucking fool, dog. Like, I'll agree with that. Like, one of the most frustrating things about getting to a competitive level in Mortal Kombat or any fighting game, really, once you cross that casual level, I would say, like, Platinum in Street Fighter 6, once you get to a certain point in Mortal Kombat, with the Combat League, it's weird. You get a bunch of different people. But once you get to a certain point in Combat League, and pretty much any other fighting game, if my favorite character ends up being the most busted, like in Street Fighter 6 with Ken, oh well. But like, it is frustrating that people get to a certain point of a competitive level, and I'm not even talking about a professional level. I'm talking about a competitive level where, like, they're not competing in tournaments, they're not winning tournaments, but they still want to win so fucking bad they pick one of the top 3 and they play no one else, even if they don't like the character, hate the character outside of how good the character is. That's super frustrating. That's definitely, like, that's super frustrating. So I agree with that.
Choose any character, right? In any of the classic, for example, 2D fighting games, at least for Mortal Kombat, and still be able to beat your opponent. You know your character's strengths, you know your character's weaknesses, and therefore you go ahead and try and figure stuff out. That's what I like about the older games. Right? We didn't have frame data, and keep in mind, there's always been frames. Right? Every single
you didn't
video
have
game
frame
has
data, right? You didn't have frame data, but you could still do what we do today. Most people, I don't sit down and look at the frame data anymore, hardly. You can very easily get a grip on what is safe, what's punishable, what your optimal punish is, your optimal punish button, right? The most damage for the quickest button, right? You can very easily get that just by playing the game. And that's how they did it back in the day at the arcades. They didn't have a frame data screen that they could sit down with, like in Street Fighter Third Strike, right? Like, you knew for the most part that if you caught someone doing an uppercut on Wake Up and you blocked it, you could punish that, right? You had to figure out what button would work, what would work with that button as a special. Could you punish it with super in the neutral? If somebody's whiffing a special move in the neutral, you could punish it with a super, right? So, like, people just played the game and understood that. It's gotten a lot easier with better training modes, right? With the frame data. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It helps people who would usually have a harder time getting into this because of how difficult it is, get more of a grasp on it so they can ease their way into playing, right? It helps people. And I think it's a great thing that the Tekken 8 training mode with combo trials, punish trials, everything else, frame data, same with Street Fighter 6 with the combo trials, being able to set your opponent up in whatever way that you need to for a punish, whatever. It's great that you can do that now. And in Mortal Kombat, which has the most lackluster training mode, right, you can see all the frame data still. So you can still get a grip on what's punishable, what's safe, what you can do, what your opponent can't do at that point. It's just, man, that kills me, bro. I already came into this video with so many, like, preconceived thoughts about how negative it was going to be and how bad it was going to be. And I already end up agreeing with, like, one of the first points. It's like, if you wouldn't go out of your way to be as hateful as you are, you make some really good points, dude.
What they're talking about here is frame data, as in some sort of metric that you can either see visually on screen while you're fighting, or actually in, say, like, you know, the training options or whatever, that tells you that if you do a set attack, you'll be plus or minus and blah, blah, blah. Whereas in the old days, right, we used to just visually notice this sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? We knew that if we threw out the spear or the harpoon, right, then there was a certain amount of time that it was sitting out there in the wind before we could possibly get punished for it, right? Sometimes if you're a scorpion versus scorpion fight, depending on how far away you are, if you duck their spear, you can then counter by grabbing them with your spear. That's how long the spear animation sticks out for, right? But these are things that we learn essentially in what you would consider an analog fashion, meaning that, you know, we didn't have some sort of guide or anything back then. They certainly didn't have that sort of thing in magazines where they go, well, you know, Sub-Zero's freeze is plus or minus on Yeager and finger up your bum and, you know, wiggle in your ear. And then the best matchup for this character is this character. Now, I know some people that do have preferences. You know, they do go, well, this is a pretty good character to use against this character. But I really, really try and avoid that level of thinking, right?
Yeah, same.
I fought people, I've been absolutely demolished. I've only recently been getting back into the competitive side when it comes to MK, like classic 2D MK, and it's so much fun. But by God, is it brutal. Fights can end so fast, right? And that's even on like old stuff like this.
Yeah, that's why
right?
it's so fun.
You have your good days, you have your bad days. But how we used to figure out how to fight people, and this is why I always said that scrap adapts, combos collapse, is because people that start to rely too much on one thing, right, open themselves up to being exploited if your opponent is picking up on stuff. So if you notice someone is getting a little bit too jump kicky, you know, things like that, then you can start to check them with a roundhouse or a high kick. You know, if you notice that they're pretty heavy or doing like a lot of zoning, right, you need to then try and figure out timing and get in closer and or try and take away from that, right? Especially if you're using a character like Sub-Zero against Cage here. If they're a zoner, right, and they just keep sitting there throwing fireballs, then the best way to do things is to, you know, clip them with your freeze. So you might get hit a bit, right? But you get in there, you freeze them with that uppercut, do that a couple of times, and they're going to start rethinking their strategy, realizing that, look, it's not worth the payoff that they get frozen and have more damage taken versus them hitting you with just their fireball, right? And these are part of the strategies and things that I think about when I do play in these like classic games, and they're so much fun, right? They really are. Even when I'm losing, I'm learning stuff, particularly from like the foreign countries like Argentina.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I feel the same way, dude. Like, Street Fighter Third Strike completely blows, like, most fighting games out of the water for me, like, still. And that's a 20-plus-year-old game, right? Third Strike is so much fun. I get absolutely destroyed. If I pick, most of the time, it put me in C rank on Fightcade. If I pick people in C, most of the time, I get my ass wiped, right? And if I go above that, dude, I might as well, like, put my fight stick down. So, like, these older games are so fun. And the way that people had to learn them back in the day, in my opinion, is much more interesting. But at the same time, I'll say, like, I mean, I'm already a point where I'm, like, chill now. Like, his thumbnail just really pissed me off because it's so abrasive, dude. But I'm at a point, like, I agree. Dude, I agree. That's the thing that kills me. It's like, bro, you don't have to make rage bait. Like, this is a really good opinion. So far, this is a decent video. Good opinions. I agree, bro. Make them in a more positive manner to, like, more reminisce on how good these older games were instead of calling people fucking losers for playing them the way they play them now. Like, bro, come on. I agree, dude. I agree. Holy shit. I find it more interesting, but my counter is, right, that I think the accessibility nowadays, like I said, with all of these very, very in-depth training modes to help people who wouldn't normally care to learn all of this stuff in the way that, you know, hell, even I learned it in MKX. I didn't really look at frame data. And in Justice 2, I didn't really look at frame data either. I still don't. I just kind of learn it on my own unless it's something that's really bugging me and I can't figure it out. I think it's a more interesting way of learning, but like the accessibility, it gets more people playing fighting games. It gets more people playing Mortal Kombat. It brings more people into the FGC. And it helps keep these games alive longer and gives like a more full community from game to game. So we can continue getting matches and playing with people and having fun with the game that we enjoy, right? Not in Mortal Kombat 1's case, at least for me. Game sucks. But like, you know, in games like MKX or even Street Fighter Third Strike. But I mean, obviously, you have a more in-depth training mode with Fightcade. It gives you frame data and shit. Or the collection on PS4, Xbox, and PC, right? So I just, it keeps people in. It brings people in because it makes it easier to learn. You know what I'm saying? So like, I agree so far, dude.
Argentina, is it Argentina? Argentina, sorry. I don't know why Argentina. That's a fucking Ian thing, isn't it? You've got Chile, you've got Rio, I think it's Rio de Janeiro, I think as well, I think. Obviously Brazil. There's a whole host of these countries that they just
South American
fucking,
players
like
for these
fighting
classic
a nightmare.
MK games, I've noticed.
Right, these guys are just insanely good, right? And I get stubborn, so I'm like, I fought a guy yesterday, I lost 10-0, right? And like, these people eat, breathe shit these games on Fightcade, right? Because they've been playing them forever.
They're good games, man.
Right? As soon as Fightcade was a thing, and probably playing offline as well, this is what they've been doing, right? We in the West, you know, yeah, we've got access to Fightcade, but you know, this is, you know, some people even still don't even know of its existence, right? And so what I really enjoy with this is the fact that, you know, there is no sort of math equation to figure out or
it's
any
not
sort
even
of
really
thing
math
like
equations,
that.
dude.
You literally learn by fighting.
This is the
losing.
one thing that I don't agree with is how complicated he's making frame data seem. You don't have to be a physicist to understand this move is -2, this move is -8, this move is -12, this move is +6 on block, this move is -6 on block, -8 and under is safe, -9 and above is punishable, 0 on block or on hit is neutral. Like, you don't have to be a physicist to understand frame data. It's actually really, really simple. Really, really simple. So I just don't like how complicated he's making it seem, because you don't have to have a bachelor's degree in math to understand frame data. You really don't.
Right? And or winning, right? But the fight itself is the lesson. The fight itself is teaching you certain things, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Does this kick work against that character's kick? No, yes, maybe, right? What are they leaning heavily in towards? Blah, blah, blah. You know, like, there's a whole bunch of things. There's something that I've been introduced to, which I didn't know was the thing, was the run low punch. I don't know what the proper vernacular is. Basically, what happens is in Ultimate MK3, they do, like, they run low punch, run low punch, run low punch. So they go boom, 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 and they're advancing on you, right? What they're trying to do is they're trying to open you up. Right? So as soon as they open you up, so as you go, right, I'm going to do a low punch or I'm going to do a low kick to get them off me. By God, make sure your finger's on that block button, because that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for you to, as soon as they know, as soon as you lift your finger off the block, which is indicative of your attack instantly coming out, they then will try and do a combo on you. That's usually how I've been caught, right? And it's nightmare fuel. Like, these people are fucking fiends, man. It's amazing, right? It's absolutely amazing.
It's incredible, dude.
Some of the crazy stuff that these people have done, right? And so, you know, we don't have, like, you know, we don't have frame data, right? There's frames, sure, but we had to visually figure it out. And because of that visualization of watching the fight and partaking in it and figuring things out, I find it more enjoyable, right? Because then it doesn't matter what character I choose. I know the skill set, I know the combos, I know the plus and minuses when their strengths are, when I'm, tallying up, whether or not they're good in this area, not good in this area. All of these things factor in when I fight.
I think he says as much as I say
right. When I was playing a lot of MK1 online, that's the way I did it. I used to have people actually get on the mic and get mad that I beat them not playing the way I think I should be playing. It's like, I'm just playing the way I'm playing. Like, this is the way I do it, right? And this is the problem with modern fighting games and the mentality that comes along with it. Because frame data encourages very, very, very precise types of gameplay, right? because then you gotta look at the frame data, then you gotta figure your matchups, right? And it's like, what happened to these old days where you could just choose anyone, get good with that character, and then hopefully
people were
beat
always
the entire roster?
picking the best character,
Right?
though, dude.
You should be able to choose anyone.
People were always picking
And
Chun-Li in Third Strike.
If you, obviously if you're good enough, right?
Jun.
But it shouldn't come down to, well, I can't use Liu Kang against Kung Lao because Liu Kang's not going to be very good.
That's
on
always
this, like,
been a
this
thing.
matchup
Matchups
shit
have
is
always
just
been a
crap, right? And it's the same thing with the frame data, right? These people sit there, they try and think they're clever. They go, oh, could you tell me the frame data of what's Scorpion Spear? What happened? What is a plus or minus on block when you block it? Listen, man, I'll be real simple. I don't give a fuck.
I've never heard someone
Because I tell you
do that.
something for free. It didn't save Mortal Kombat 1, did it? Right, all this wonderful gameplay that everyone keeps raving. It's the best gameplay we've ever had.
I have never heard somebody try to insult somebody in a fighting game. They probably have, right? Like, I just haven't been, like, in my competitive, like, group, dude, like, nobody was like, your opinion's invalid unless you can tell me what Scorpion Spear's frame data is. I feel like that's wild, dude. I've never heard anybody say that. Maybe there has been people that have, like, tried to win an argument like that, but that's wild. Like, that's some extra shit. I've never personally heard it.
If it was truly the best gameplay we've ever had, and you guys think that the only thing that matters is the gameplay, right? Because you can have a little bit of shitty gameplay, right? Or not so great gameplay in an amazing fighting game, right?
Depends on how you're looking at it.
But if the gameplay was the center point that these people keep pointing out with MK1, then why is it that the game is tanking? Why is it not saved? Why is it that every other fighting game out there seems to be destroying it? Because it's not fun. It's crap.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I agree.
These fights, especially, like, you think about it, you go, well, there's no run meter in MK2, right? How can it, and yet you can have fights just end so fast, right? Because the gameplay is really quick, right? Even though there's no run meter, they move around really fast. They're able to execute moves. You're like, so quick. No frame data, no math equations, right? None of going to university, no sitting in a fucking training lab for 6 hours trying to figure out shit. I mean, when you get these only pros going, oh, you're not playing the most optimal way, who the fuck are you talking to?
Yeah, but at the same time, dude, who cares? Who cares? Who cares if these people are doing this? Who cares if someone's like, you don't play the most optimal way, fake, like, what are you doing? Like, who cares, bro? Like, is it worth making a whole damn video about? I feel like Tootin wouldn't get along with this guy in real life. He's abrasive. Very abrasive. I try to be as, like, easygoing as I can. And, like, I'll talk about it here in a minute. Like, he's making some decent points. And it's so frustrating. Because he's trying so hard to be rage bait and the villain of the Mortal Kombat community. Like, he's ruining, like, a good thing. Like, this is a good video. So far. For the most part. He said some kind of dumb things. The
person that buys these games is going to go to a competition, right? Do you think these people even give a shit whether or not they're high level, like they have a high level of skill or not? They just want to have fun. They just want to choose a character, get good with the character, possibly take that character online and see how they fare. And one of the best things, right, against fighting online and Fightcade, against especially a lot of the foreign folk I fought, oh my god, like, you learn stuff that you never learned before, and it's amazing, absolutely amazing. But there is no training mode unless you put up a 2-player match and you just sit there and practice stuff. That's the closest you get to a training mode. So the only way that you learn is getting in game and getting your fucking ass handed to you and trying to figure it out.
Right?
I don't get mad. I don't care. I say GG's, thanks, bro. Maybe next time, if they've...
This is my one question, right? I don't know if you answer it later in the video, but I'll leave it right here, just in case that you don't. This is my personal question to Fate, if he watches this video. What's the problem with having an in-depth training mode that allows certain people who wouldn't take the time before to learn a fighting game and actually get into it? What's the problem with that? Like, I understand, I agree with you. Like, learning fighting games visually and, like, understanding it on a match-to-match basis to where, like, you feel like you're training through the fight, that is very enjoyable. That's the way I like to do it. But I don't think having the tools to be prepared for the fight is a bad thing. It's like training. You know, it's like training for a fight in jiu-jitsu. I did jiu-jitsu. The team that I was on, one of the dudes went to like nationals. He was one of my coaches. He went to nationals and got like second place. And what he did was he would sit down and watch the tapes of previous fights for his opponents that he knew was going to be there at that national, right? He would sit down and he would watch the tapes to understand how they fought, how they moved, what their favorite moves to go to were. And he's one of the best in the country, dude. And like he was one of my coaches. It's honestly insane, right? So I think it's kind of like the same thing. It's the same thing as preparing for a fight. You know, people are training all day, every day for a fight. I think this is a video game. Yeah, obviously, right, dude? It's a video game. But I think there's still some fun factor there for a lot of people of like training and preparing and learning shit like on their own. So instead of going into a match and getting absolutely fucking wiped, you know, like they're like, I'm ready, I got this. They see a Liu Kang pop up, they trained for it, like they're ready. They know his frame data, they know what moves are safe, what moves are unsafe. They have an idea of how he's going to move and react to certain things that, you know, they do. I think there's some fun factor there too. Now, I will agree that the people who feel like you should only, like, that's how you play a fighting game, like frame data, you have to learn the frame data, you have to be competitive. I think that's ridiculous. I think that's just as dumb of a take as, like, thinking it's a dumb thing to learn the frame data. Swear after MK1 got announced to get its plug pulled, a lot of people have been making these types of videos with crappy points and whatnot. Because the game's dead, man. There's nothing else to talk about. I mean, yeah, there's Conan, but Conan, we're going to talk about Conan here in a little bit. Not exactly excited for Conan, big dog. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't look the best. Duke says one good point and then proceeds to say something ridiculous the next sentence. It's not even really that for me. He hasn't said anything too ridiculous this video. It's more or less just the way he presents himself. Or not even himself, just how he presents the video. Right? How he's presenting the video of how hateful it is, how rage baited it is, bro. It's not a bad video so far. He hasn't said anything drastically terrible. I actually agree with most of what he's saying. It's just disappointing. Even though I don't agree with every point that people make, the truth is that there are some things I could agree on because I can see what's valid and some points that I don't because of how dumb it sounds. Exactly, Jasper. I mean, like, everybody has an opinion. My favorite saying from my grandmother, who was passed on, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one, and you ain't gonna like most of them, right? So, like, everybody has an opinion. I feel like it's how you present your opinion. And honestly, it got, like, the video, I made myself look like an idiot in this video, because I'm gonna leave all of it in, dude. I made myself look like an idiot because I came into this video so fired up, expecting, like, such dumb shit because of how he presented it. And then I come into the video, I'm sitting here like, yeah, fuck, yeah, that's right. Yeah, shit. You know, like if this dude would just present it a little bit better and, you know, maybe try to be a little bit kinder, I think everybody could use doing that, you know, trying to be a little bit kinder. It's a good video, you know? He made a good point. He makes some good points.
Absolutely flogged the living piss out of me. But that's part of the fun of it, right? I don't have to worry about, oh, well, you know, matchups or frame data or any of this sort of stuff. We didn't have that. And yet we had competitions for these games back then.
I still do disagree with that. You absolutely had people picking the best matchup back then. In fact, picking the best character back then.
Actually
Chun-Li Third Strike and Ken Third Strike's a
let me see.
Blatant example of that.
Just before I finalize the video, I want to show you something. I want to show you something, right? Because this is very cool, right? I sent this to a dude on Twitter because he asked if he played the older games. And he said he hasn't played in ages. He loved playing, I think, Ultimate MK3. Told him about Fightcade, right? I sent him two screenshots, right, of what the Fightcade lobby is, like how many people are playing for Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. So let me just grab this for a second. All right. There we go. I have to, there we go. So, check that out. Hang on, let me fix the window. You go, oh.
Yeah, that's what got me, Nate. It's like, dude, like, this is for losers? Like, what's the point in that, right? Like, it's a decent video. It's a good video. He's making some good points. He's bringing up Fightcade and how Fightcade keeps these older games alive, which I absolutely agree. They released a whole collection for older Capcom games like Third Strike, New Generations, Alpha, whatever. And people are still choosing to play the Fightcade versions because they're so damn close to the arcade. Fightcade is keeping these older games alive to the point where you can hop on here and look, there's 18 different players playing and there's 12 looking to play. I mean, that's not a massive amount, but that's still people to play with. And Third Strike has more than that. You know what? Let me boot up my fucking Fightcade real quick. You know, I always draw everything back to Third Strike because it's one of my favorite fighting games ever. It's just so fantastic. So, I mean, we look at Third Strike. There's 85 people looking to play on here. And how many are playing? There's 180 people playing. If you want to go back and play fucking King of Fighters, there's 688 people playing. King of Fighters 2002. Somebody's already fucking invited me to a match. King of Fighters 98. There's 582 people. And like, dude, you can still play Super Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Like, it's keeping this shit alive. It's great. He's making some good points and showing some good shit, bro. Like, I might do that later. I might go play some Street Fighter Alpha 3. Alpha 3 is fucking fantastic. I haven't played as much as I should. You know what? There's 114 people playing. You know? So, like, good points.
You know, there's a bunch of people here. You have actually, so if you set yourself down the bottom, you can't see if it's under the window.
There's 73 people not available.
Which puts you down in the not available section. But see all these people here? These are all the people looking for a fight. You got the people currently playing. And then you got all the people who are basically away or not ready to partake in the fight. There is a hunger. There is a hunger, right? And then over on MK2, right? Not as many. It depends on time of day. I think Ultimate is generally the biggest one.
Yeah, it's probably time of day because he's in Australia. He's like, what, 13 hours ahead of me? So like at 9 at night, it's like 1 for him. So like during the day for me, it's like early in the morning for him. And that's when like most people are on Fightcade for me. It's mostly like people in like Europe, South America, and North America, Canada, whatever, playing on Fightcade, and it's usually during the day. That's where I find like most of my matches for whatever game I want to play, right? So he's just like, he's in a weird time zone, so this doesn't really like reflect how many people are probably on these games from like a day-to-day basis.
People playing, and then of course all the not available right now, and then even we've got Classic MK1. Still got Classic MK1, right?
Still got 3
And for those that aren't big into Mortal Kombat, but you are a fan of the channel, well, let me show you something. This is what Fightcade looks like, right?
It's actually pretty
currently
similar,
right now, the King of Fighters 2002, the arcade game, has 773 people in the lobby.
Bro, what kind of video were you trying to make? That's what I'm confused on here. What kind of video were you trying to make? Were you trying to make a video that's like hating on people for like using frame data? Because you haven't really done much of that. Your title and your thumbnail were actually clickbait because you have not done what you made me believe you were going to do in the video. You have not sat here and completely trashed on people who learn frame data and who use frame data and who play competitively at that level. You haven't really mentioned it. So far, you have reminisced on how much fun it was to play back in the day for the older Mortal Kombat and older fighting games. Older Mortal Kombats and older fighting games. You have reminisced on how much fun it was to learn in that way back in the day, which I absolutely agree. There are still people like me who learn fighting games in that way today, right? And now you're talking about how awesome Fightcade is, which I completely agree again. So like, what kind of video were you trying to make here? You could have literally named this video how Fightcade saved classic Mortal Kombat. Fightcade is saving classic Mortal Kombat. Why you don't need frame data to have fun in Mortal Kombat. Why you don't need frame data to have fun in fighting games, right? You could have absolutely named it something like that and had a really, really good positive video that people were coming into with a positive attitude instead of coming into with like this negative, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Why is he such a dumbass? Coming in with that kind of attitude like I did. Because now that I've watched the video, which I'm watching it because I'm a content creator, right? I'm reacting to it. That's what we do, dog. If I wasn't a content creator and this popped up on my For You page, I would probably click don't show content from this person anymore because it's just abrasive. It's not what most people in this community are looking for.
King of Fighters 98 saying 603. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, which is pretty much usually at the top, 564. This is free.
Yeah, completely free.
This is a free program. And I have fought people that it's actually pretty rare now. I put a video out there the other day. I fought some dude, I think it was in Chile, I can't remember. And it was really bad. Maybe it was just a McDonald's Wi-Fi, because since then, I've fought a whole bunch of people all around the world and it's actually been really good. So either that was an upgrade or that was just an anomaly. Either way, I've had an absolute fucking ball, man. This is a free app, like free program you install on your PC. Right? I've got a link in my Discord because my particular, like, generally I think if you install it, you actually have to manually put in the games, right?
No, you don't.
My one automatically downloads the game. So if you add, you can only have 3 channels at a time unless you become a Patreon member. So if I leave one of these channels and I add one of these other games that I've never, like, accessed their game, like the lobby for, it'll automatically download the game for me. I tested it the other day with Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
No,
it automatically downloaded the game. Free. Free.
Yeah, dude. Free.
Tell me again why we need modern Mortal Kombat. You don't even get this amount of people playing MK10. Maybe MK11.
Yeah, you do. You
and what I mean
absolutely
that
have
many
this many
playing,
people
I mean
MK10.
people online, right? This is actually people playing the games or having Fightcade open
I could boot up
for the
MKX
primary
right now
objective
and get
of
a bunch
playing
of
the
matches.
game
Same with
online.
MK11.
You can test the game that you can see up here. You can also go into training, which is essentially just like it's playing the game, but it shows you all the buttons that you're pressing, right? So yeah, it's pretty much arcade ladder, but with button presses that you can see on screen, right?
Yeah, even those have a training.
You don't get
mode
this
now.
many people playing MK10. You don't get this many people probably
Yeah,
playing
that's
MK11. And I'd be
that is false. That
fair
is actually
stretch to
objectively
imagine
false.
that even
There's still a ton of people
MK1
playing
right, would be
MKX.
outdoing this on some great margin, right? This is free. And these games are 1,000 fucking years old. Look at the support. Look at the people
Yeah, it's great,
all
dude.
over
It's
the world. You
actually
can
great.
tell because of their flags, right? You can tell. They're from everywhere. Not a whole bunch of Australians, but we got Alex in here, myself, obviously, right? We got some Aussie representation up in here. That's a free app.
It's great.
That's
man.
a free fucking app. Access to hundreds of games, maybe, depending on what's been loaded at the time. But ultimately, you have some big ones that you can play. No frame data. No training mode, like what we get now. No
You have
math equations,
You have frame data in the training mode.
just straight up Mortal Kombat. And you can play it right now.
I think you even
can
have
play it on a
combo trials in
potato,
the training mode.
and this thing will
At
still
least for
run.
third strike, you do.
Right. Anyway, catch you next time.
It's these thumbnails titles. Like, dude. Here's my thing, man. I don't feel like he wanted to make a video about frame data. Why does that keep getting put over there? I don't feel like he wanted to make a video about frame data. I don't feel like he wanted to make a video about anything other than talking about how awesome it was to learn classic Mortal Kombat and classic fighting games in the way that we did, or how awesome Fightcade is. It really felt like he wanted to make a Fightcade video, which is a great idea. I always talk about that and how awesome it is, but he knew it wasn't going to do as well as making a video that was directly calling out a certain set of people in the fighting game and Mortal Kombat community, right? He didn't feel like he felt like if he wasn't abrasive and he didn't call somebody out, call somebody a loser, whatever, nobody was going to click on it. And you know what? That might be true. But eventually, and I'm having to go through this right now, dude. When I was making Dead by Daylight videos, I'm not ashamed to say that I make like 13 grand in a couple of months from doing Dead by Daylight videos. Got a ton of sponsorships like that made me more money on top of that I can't account for because it's not on my revenue page for YouTube. I can't look at that. I got a ton of sponsorships like I made a lot of money. You want to get to a point where a lot of people are clicking on your videos and not being abrasive, not being mean. It's a little bit harder to do that. It's definitely easier this day and age to blow up as a content creator, being abrasive and being hateful, calling people out, etc., so on and so forth. But he had a genuinely good video here, reminiscing on old Mortal Kombat because he was around for it. He did it. He played it. He was there. And I love hearing stories from people like Max, you know, who were there. I love hearing the stories about the classic arcade because I didn't get to experience that, dude. I didn't get to go. I was a kid. I was a baby. I wasn't even born for MK1. I think I might have been born for MK3. Let's see. MK3 release date. No! I wasn't born for 3 more years, dude. So I didn't get to experience this shit. So I love sitting down and like watching these videos where people reminisce on how it was back in the day and how you had to learn fighting games back in the day. And then on top of that, further into the video, he introduced people who may not know about it to Fightcade, which I know about it, but he introduced people to Fightcade. Let them know that it's free. Let them know that it's pretty easy to set up and it automatically downloads shit for you. That would have been a great video. That would have been a great video. Title of it, How Fightcade is Saving Classic Mortal Kombat. Thumbnail, I don't fucking know. He could have figured something out there with one of his faces, you know, for the thumbnail. It was a good video. It was actually a good video, dude. If he would just present himself in a different way, I feel like people would come, right? And people wouldn't be coming just to make fun of his takes. Like, people would be genuinely coming to hear his stories about classic Mortal Kombat, how he loves it, and playing Fightcade. But, you know, some people choose to go down, I don't know, the dark path, I guess. I don't fucking know. It's absolutely easier to grow being abrasive on YouTube, but you're at a very, very low ceiling of people who will actually return and keep watching you and subscribe. Because if you look at this, how long have you been uploading, right? 3 years. But like, how long have you been consistently uploading? It looks like consistently uploading, but he's not gotten abrasive. So he wasn't getting a ton of views, right? So it probably started around MK1, unless I missed one. Like, this is the first abrasive title. But I mean, I agree with that, right? I agree with that. I was abrasive when it came to this. I was like, are you fucking serious? This is all we get for the 30th anniversary? Calling out Max. Like, that's where you get me. Like, you're calling out one of the most chill, happy-go-lucky, helping fighting games dudes in the community, right? You're calling out those guys. So it looks like it started really with MK1, and that's when he got very abrasive and political, and he's been doing this for over a year. Over a year, and he's at 5,000 subscribers. There's a very low ceiling for how popular you're going to get being hateful and abrasive. And with that video that we just watched, dude, it was actually a good video. I feel like if he would, you know, not to be preachy, I'm not trying to be preachy, but like, I just see a guy who's like, he's got good takes, he's reminiscing on the old days, he's talking about some interesting shit from the old days that I personally love to listen to, but he's going about it in such a hateful way that I really don't fucking care. It kind of mirrors Mortal Kombat 1 for me. It's like, there's some cool things in Mortal Kombat, and Mortal Kombat 1, it does some cool things, but they canceled support. They never cared about it from the start. It's been a cash cow for them, so why should I fucking care? It's like this. You're rage baiting. You're making all these abrasive thumbnails. You're being an asshole. So when you make a good point, why should I fucking care? I like to see it turn around, you know, honestly. Because that was a really good video, dude. I haven't watched, you know, any other. I've watched like 2 or 3 others. And they were kind of ridiculous, like this one and that one. Like, calling out Max is like a, dude, come on, for me. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Fate, if you got anything to say to me, I'm here, bro. I'm here. Whatever. Anyways, yeah.